NATO's done an extraordinary job. How much longer do we continue pushing, I think, what many people in the Pentagon would think is the unrealistic goal of Ukraine driving every last Russian out of their country?
It's exactly the right question, Joe. And what concerns me is when people get disillusioned and increasingly come to where you and I are, that as desirable as it is, it's simply not feasible. They're going to increasingly say, and we're hearing it in the House, we're hearing it in parts of Europe, why should we keep doing this? We're already stretched. We're trying to support Israel. We're worried about Taiwan. And even if we give everything we need to give or want to give to Ukraine, it still won't lead to success. What I argue, therefore, is the United States needs to have some very direct conversations with Ukraine, with President Zelensky.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen across our beautiful country of Canada, our friends around the world in the known and unknown universe. Welcome back to Favorite Angry Canadian on Monday, 27th day of November 2023. So the talking points out there now are that Ukraine can't win against Russia. Even though the politicians, even though the mainstream media, the military experts in the U.S. and elsewhere were saying that, oh, Ukraine's going to defeat Russia. Man, we give them enough weapons, and, well, we can't give them, troops, but we can give them weapons. As long as there's a Ukrainian to hold a weapon, we can keep sending it to them. Actually, isn't that what Canada's all about right friggin' now?
I see these guys all the time. Mr. President, I'm Chair Poilievre, leader of His Majesty's Loyal Opposition, proud to come from originally from Western Canada, where there are many proud Ukrainians who helped build our country. One of them is Senator Batters, who is with me here today. He represents neighboring Saskatchewan.
This will go down as one of the darkest days in Canadian Parliament when we had Zelensky at the House of Commons and also a Nazi. And the Nazi got 2 standing ovations because he was old, And during World War II, he did fight the Russians, and that's all that matters. Fight the Russians. That pisses me off so much because, I hear, especially in the American TVs, referring to Russians, Chinese, whoever else, as enemies. They are our enemies. How the hell did they become your enemies? Well, they're not us. That makes them our enemies. And same with Canada. I mean, Trudeau is such a kiss-ass. And did you see PePe Le Pew? Oh, I'm Her Majesty's royal opposition. Give me a break. Are you there for Canada, asshole? So anyway, that was just a little while ago, bowing down to Zelensky, and Canada will continue to do that for the near future, even though the war is gonna wind down.
Canada will transfer more than 11,000 assault rifles and more than 9 million cartridges for small arms to Ukraine.
Well, all I gotta say about this is thank goodness Canada is doing so amazingly well that we can give away, 11,000 assault rifles? What would they cost each? $1,000? $2,000? Who knows? But we give them away. And 9 million rounds of ammunition in case they're going to go hunting. What a load of crap. We got people on the streets. We got working couples not affording rent or food or all kinds of issues internally. And our government is handing out weapons and ammunition, and we've given tanks and everything. What the hell is going on, and why aren't Canadians saying, hold it a minute, Justin, you want to give it? You friggin' well pay for it.
European Truth reports. Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau announced this at a joint briefing with top officials of the European Union. Trudeau emphasized that Russian aggression against Ukraine continues, and Ukraine will continue to need support for defense. Today I am announcing that Canada is transferring over 11,000 assault rifles and over 9 million rounds of ammunition to Ukraine, Trudeau said. Regarding the specific models of rifles, it is not specified which ones will be transferred to Ukraine. However, it can be assumed that these are local variations of the Colt M16 or Colt M4, known as Diemaco C7 and Diemaco C8 respectively. These rifles have already been in use by the defense forces of Ukraine since mid-spring 2022, and their distribution increased during the summer and fall. Diemaco rifles are licensed variations of the American M16 and M4 with minor design changes. The production of this weapon is now carried out by Colt Canada. Earlier it was reported that Canada plans to send 21,000 assault rifles, 38 machine guns and more than 2.4 million rounds of ammunition to Ukraine. It was also announced that by 2026, Canada intends to transfer more than $1 billion Canadian in military aid to Ukraine, of which $816 million is intended for 2023 to 2024, and $515 million until 2026. Specific details of the Canadian government's assistance have not been disclosed, but it is believed to include direct financial support in the security and defense sector.
So now I gotta say, what a piece of shit Trudeau and the Liberals are. Do you know that in British Columbia, and I imagine it's happening all over Canada, we got emergency wards in hospitals shutting down on the weekends. We don't have enough physicians for all the population. If you don't have your own doctor, you got to go to the emergency room at the hospital and hope that it's open. How can people stand by and let this piece of crap destroy our Canada? And it is our Canada. Canada is for Canadians, damn it. And Trudeau, he doesn't see that. He doesn't see that. We are for the World Economic Forum. We are for the WHO, central banks, everything like. We're just not for Canadians. Really has my gander up. I really don't know what the hell that means, but I've heard it said in TV shows, so I got my gander up against the wall, people. But now, something interesting. You know, I've been saying that I have a different channel, which I can't access anymore because I forgot my password, but I was over 125,000 subscribers and more than 225 million views. 225 million views. Never give up, never surrender. I will do it again. That's my attitude. So, here we go.
Now to the Netherlands, and the party of far-right populist Geert Wilders is set to emerge as the largest force after elections there. Early results point to his Freedom Party winning 35 of the 150 seats in Parliament. Many other parties have ruled out working with Wilders and his party.
The big winner of the night. Geert Wilders celebrated coming top of the polls with his supporters. A result that even he wasn't expecting.
That it would be that huge was indeed also surprising for me, but a very pleasant result, of course. By far the largest party in the Dutch political establishment. So I'm very proud. At the same time, it comes with a lot of responsibility. People expect our agenda of hope, tougher asylum and immigration policy, people getting more money to pay for their utilities and groceries.
A veteran of Dutch politics, Wilders and his far-right Freedom Party call for a ban on mosques and the Quran in the Netherlands and promise to get tough on immigration. Wilders also promised a controversial referendum on the country's EU membership, dubbed Nexit.
Awesome to see that the Dutch are waking up to the reality that the old isn't going to keep working forever and are willing to try something new. That's going to have to happen in Canada. It's going to have to happen in the UK, Germany, all over. The Western countries have been taken over by greedy, power-hungry mother truckers. That's right. I don't mean the truckers that came to Ottawa. I mean, you know, a trucker with a different first letter. But what gives them the right? They're not elected. You know, World Health Organization. Not elected, but they want to control your health. Your health here in Canada, in the US. And the WEF, World Economic Forum, that's going to reset your world by 2030, because we do need a great reset. You know, things are going really bad after we got our hands on it. And now we're going to make people feel good because we're going to make it better, but not really. What we're going to do is exert more control over all the people, and then they'll be afraid to say anything. And for doing that, well, we got the World Bank, IMF, we got all sorts of non-elected officials, and these people have also brought in elected officials. Remember when Klaus Schwab was bragging that, well, Justin Trudeau, you know, more than half his cabinet is members of the young leaders, or whatever the hell they are, in the WEF, and they're going to be controlling your future. What a load of shit. You know, these people aren't being chosen on their intelligence, on their ability. They're being chosen on the fact that they'll go along with whatever is said if you dangle power in front of them. That's all Trudeau wants. He wants to have power. And he doesn't give a shit about Canada or Canadians. It's all about power.
Justin Trudeau and the Liberals have developed a troubling pattern of avoiding rigorous scrutiny and hiding key evidence in scandals that could put the Prime Minister under the spotlight. Time and again, they have limited investigations and blocked access to information that might lead to more serious political consequences. With the NDP as their coalition partner keeping them in power, the Liberals have been able to shut down attempts at full transparency and accountability. As long as the NDP props them up, Trudeau's Liberals face few consequences for lack of accountability, but Canadians deserve the full truth, especially in matters with major ethics or legal questions hanging over the Prime Minister's head. Only with transparency about what has been hidden for so long can true oversight and rule of law that Trudeau claims to speak about all the time finally be restored. As more documentation emerges through access requests and committee studies, the Conservatives believe they are uncovering new and damning evidence against Trudeau. But at every turn, the Liberal NDP coalition uses its majority to stonewall and...
It's an absolute crime that we don't have democracy in Canada. You know, we don't. We have two parties who stuck together. They're the ones that are creating the rules and the law. It has nothing to do with the voters, with the citizens. All they do is go around right now and, you know, preach to people, oh yeah, we're so good, oh yeah, you got to vote for us, and Conservatives are so bad, and Conservatives are saying that Liberals are so bad, and NDP are saying everyone's bad, somebody like us, please. What a load of shit our country has become. And I say our country, I'm as Canadian as anyone born here, so make me friggin' Prime Minister, and I'll set this shit show correct. Now, part of the problem we're going to be facing in the coming year, obviously, is that we're going to go down the tube for poverty. Here's the thing. We are already suffering in poverty ways that a developed G8 country that loves to talk about itself as, oh, we are so advanced, we're so good, we're going to give millions of dollars of weapons to Ukraine. We don't have any problems at home. Nah, it's all good. But here's the thing, with interest rates, mortgages going up, more than 3 million Canadians will face mortgage renewal next year to March 25. And that's not just about that. As you know, rents are up, house prices are up, food is up, utilities are up. Everything is up except wages, at least for the ordinary people. You can't get enough of a raise to keep you ahead of the price increases. So more and more are going to food banks.
Nearly 2 million Canadians are using food banks, a stark number that has Food Banks Canada issuing a warning. Food price growth is slowing, but the organization's Hunger Count report shows food costs, along with housing and low wages, have Canadians seeking out help.
I don't know how much more years of this kind of growth food banks can handle and can absorb.
According to the study, more than 1.9 million Canadians accessed food banks in March this year. That's an increase of 32% from 2022 and a nearly 80% increase from 4 years ago. Some provinces are also reporting drastic rises, with Ontario seeing a 40% increase from just a year ago and New Brunswick seeing a jump of nearly 25%. It's not just adults either who are being impacted, with the study showing children make up 1/3 of food bank clients. Food Banks Canada CEO Kirsten Beardsley says they want governments to offer help that can ease people's budgets, ranging from affordable housing to income support. This month, Ottawa said grocery chains had promised discounts and price matching as part of the federal government's plan to stabilize prices, but grocers haven't confirmed their plans. The end goal is for food banks to someday close, but not for the reason you might think.
We want to see ourselves put out of a job, as you said. We want to see the amount of food bank use come down, but quite frankly, that's not being met with an urgency at government levels, and that's not okay.
Yet as they wait for action, Beardsley says she's concerned there's the potential of having to pull back how much food is given, as some previous donors become food bank users and others are stretched thin and unable to give as much food as they used to. Sean Preble, Global News.
Mr. Speaker, look, the problem with grocery prices isn't that they're too high due to excessive carbon taxation. Let me be clear. That is misinformation being spread by far-right conspiracy theorists. The real issue is that we haven't been taxing groceries enough. I know I recommended canceling Disney Plus, but it's turned out that will only afford you several cans of dog food to feed your family each month, so we need to take alternate measures. We need to teach these greedy grocery store owners a lesson and make sure they stop thinking that they can profit from hard-working Canadians. And let's not forget the economic benefits of this plan. Think of all the jobs we can create to enforce these new grocery taxes. We'll need an army of bureaucrats to count your apples, weigh your potatoes, and determine exactly how much to tax our most essential goods. Job creation for Canadians at its finest. In conclusion, a great leader was once criticized for saying, "Let them eat cake." Thankfully, we have come a long way since then. And here in Canada, during a food crisis, I can proudly say, let them eat crickets. Thank you.
Trudeau is walking around with a sledgehammer. Anything that looks small to him through his elitist eyes, he crushes it. A small shop, bam, gone. Small business, bam, gone. Small you, bam, gone.
Welcome to TFI Global, the antidote to mass delusion.
In Canada, the small business community, a crucial pillar of the economy, faces a dire situation. During the pandemic, about 900,000 small businesses took loans of up to $60,000 to survive. This move, born out of necessity, has now placed them in a precarious position. As a repayment deadline looms, nearly 250,000 of these businesses are on the verge of bankruptcy or closure, unable to meet the government's rushed December 31st deadline. The government's response, an 18-day extension, seems more symbolic than substantive, offering little relief to these struggling businesses. This crisis isn't just about financials, it's about the people behind these businesses. Many small business owners are losing sleep, desperately searching for ways to manage their pandemic debts. They find themselves in a situation where survival, let alone profit, is a daunting challenge. The government's approach, which once promised aid, now leaves them feeling abandoned and helpless. In a promising development, though, the premiers of all provinces and territories have called on the federal government to extend the repayment deadline further. This collective voice reflects a shared concern for the well-being of small businesses and the recognition of their critical role in the economy. The situation becomes more frustrating when contrasted with the government's financial priorities. While small businesses struggle, significant funds have been allocated elsewhere. $28.2 billion in subsidies for the massive electric vehicle industry. So much for the wokeness campaigns, LGBTQ and whatnot. This allocation of funds raises questions about the government's commitment to supporting small businesses. While large industries receive substantial support, small business is often hailed as the backbone of the economy, are left grappling with financial uncertainty and a lack of adequate government assistance. The message to small business owners seems stark and disheartening. The government's current stance suggests a prioritization of larger industries and sectors with more significant political weight. This approach overlooks the critical importance of small businesses, which are not only economic drivers, but also embody the entrepreneurial spirit of Canada. In summary, the situation for small business owners in Canada is not just a financial crisis, but a reflection of the government's priorities. The need for more substantial support and a re-evaluation of the repayment deadline is evident. Without it, Canada risks losing a vital part of its economy and dampening the entrepreneurial spirit that has long been a hallmark of the nation's success.
Our government was elected on a promise to deliver for the middle class. And our economic plan is focused on building an economy that works for everyone, with good jobs that people can count on. Like the Transcontinental Railway a century ago, these are foundational investments which only government can make. We believe in Canada, and we believe in the incredible possibility of Canada's future. And that is why we are making the investments that Canada needs to make that bright future a reality.
Bravo.
Affordable early learning and childcare is likewise an investment in our social infrastructure, and it is also transformative economic policy. It gives children the best possible start in life and saves middle-class families thousands of dollars a year, while also supporting record women's employment and thus helping to address the labor shortages which contributed to inflation.